of the Xbox Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Shane.
Hello.
And that's it. I'm Matt, as always. I really gotta start. I keep trying to remind myself to introduce myself. I've just been doing this for so many fucking episodes and just not talking about who the hell I am. But I assume that if someone's this deep into the podcast, they know who we are. I would hope. Just the two of us this week. As always, we do the show live on Twitch. Xbox Hall of Gamers is a place to find us. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. Usual business. You know how it all works. Shane, how you been doing?
Pretty good. Just winding down in the summer, hopefully. Maybe take a vacation soon. Gaming a lot, obviously.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's I mean, it's the opposite here. It's freezing fucking cold. We, getting down into single digit Celsius here, which is pretty unusual for us. But it is, definitely been getting into the colder days of winter. Even though we're on the sort of tail end of it, the seasons seem to be shifting a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I guess it's August, so September, October is kind of when spring usually ends up showing up at some stage.
Well, hopefully soon. You gotta go touch some grass. You can't get games all the time.
That's true. I'm gonna go outside tomorrow, but that'll be my enrichment for the week.
Me too. I'm gonna go get day drunk. It's great.
Nice, love that.
It's like a beer festival.
In all fairness, I did go out and see the Odyssey last weekend, so that's something, right?
Ooh. How was it?
It was really good. I loved it. My only real complaint is that because it's the Odyssey, it's a long story. They kind of sped through a lot of the stuff that I wish they'd spent a bit more time on. But I understand from a technical perspective and why they can't do stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw Spider-Man last weekend as well, and that was also great. Also, John Bernthal, Zendaya, and Tom Holland.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they're having a good run, and then Zendaya's going to be in Dune 3 as well.
Sure is. Yeah, she's gonna have quite a year.
We do have a couple of community questions, so let's just jump straight into those. The first one here is from Logic Dad, Isaac, who says, question for the show, do you guys have any peripherals that you still keep around, or did you get rid of those things years ago as well? Probably one of you still has something, even if it's just a rarely used Kinect. Thanks for taking my question. This kind of comes up in regards to his question from last week around like playing old 360 games and kind of going back to those, and that kind of spun out into a discussion of like, well, what do you have to play on the 360? What's the stuff that you can't really do backwards compatible? And peripherals, the Rock Band, Guitar Hero, Lips, all that kind of stuff. None of that stuff is compatible, so you kind of have to do all that on the original machine. Shane, do you have any old peripheral junk laying around the house?
Kinect 360 there, Xbox One connected there, the little webcam right down there. I can see it. All my Skylander things. I even got some of my Skylanders sitting here. Yeah. I do play a lot of old 360 still. I don't have my UDraw tablet anymore because I finished those games.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely.
They only had like
360 Kinect still works.
Yeah. So. I wonder if mine does, because I have one Kinect game because I bought I won't relitigate the story because everyone's already heard it before, I'm sure. But I bought the Kinect, the Xbox, the 360 Kinect for like one reason basically, and I ended up playing Kinect Adventures on it because that's what it came with. And like I popped a couple of achievements in it, and it's been sitting on my tag, haunting me ever since. And I've never gone back to it. And so that I have it sitting around somewhere. I'd actually probably have to dig it out somewhere, but. Every time I clean up the house and move things around, I'm like, oh, now's the time. I'm going to make some space. And we're going to just do like Kinect. I'm never going to go back to it at this rate. It's never going to happen. Yeah.
Considering I still play Just Dance and I still want to do Kinect game, I still have a Kinect game on my tag currently, the Power Ranger one. Yeah. No,
oh yeah.
Like the way my living room is set up behind me, there's space here, literally for things like Kinect. So I keep that space open for that. I'm not gonna get like a coffee table or anything.
Yeah,
that's important stuff. It's very important.
No, exactly. I'm pretty sure I can see a Rock Band guitar hiding in the corner around near my computer, but it's behind a bunch of boxes and a bunch of other shit like old peripherals and keyboards and things like that. So I don't know if I'll get around to ever digging that thing out. It's probably rusted by now, to be honest. But I do have a couple, again, like I've got a few Rock Band games. I think I've got, a couple of Guitar Heroes. I played quite a few of them, but not as many as they all put out. I think I did like Rock Band 1, Guitar Hero 3, and World Tour, and like Metallica, some of the spin-offs. Yeah, so I keep some of that stuff around with the idea of like, yeah, maybe one of these days I'll go back to that. I might even have like some Rock Band drums around somewhere. I might have thrown those out, but I think
I
realistically,
think my daughter still has my. I think my daughter still has my Wii Guitar Hero 3 peripheral, and then I know she has Rocksmith. I think it's called.
Oh, yep.
So that's. I think that.
Cameron's a
I
big
guess that's
fan
not
of
really
that.
peripheral though. That's a real guitar you use for that one.
I was gonna say, yeah, the one where they actually teach you how to play guitar, apparently, which is interesting. Yeah. Isaac was kind of talking about this because obviously he's been moving around. I believe he's back in Japan now. So lugging all that stuff around, moving when packing boxes and all that kind of stuff really makes you kind of take stock of all the shit that you have in your house and you'd be like, do I really need all this? And I haven't moved for
several. Went digital.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't moved for several years, and I think maybe I should just like take that mindset, that Marie Kondo mindset, and have a look around at all the stuff we've got.
But everything gives pleasure. It's things. It's stuff.
I
think I still have Game Boy Advance boxes somewhere.
Yeah, see, that's crazy to me. Like I love getting rid of stuff. It's so freeing.
I'm this close to being a hoarder, or like what's the word looking for? Not a hoarder.
Maximalist, I think, is the
clutterbug.
Yeah, I'm a minimalist. My wife's a maximalist. It's a struggle. Yeah, but hopefully that answers your question there, Isaac. We do have another question here from Red Ninja Dan, our other wonderful question asker, who says, as someone who's never played Final Fantasy before but is slowly becoming interested, the more you guys talk about them, what Final Fantasy games would you recommend for someone who has never played them before to start with? I do wish Jake was on because I'm sure he'd have opinions, but I know what his opinion would be, so I probably could just parrot that he would basically go, yeah, play 4, probably, for the Pixel
Let's
remasters.
say probably 4 or 6.
4 or 6, yeah.
One of the classics. If you want, if you really want the base experience, go play 1.
Yes.
That's about as basic as you can get.
But I think there's... I don't know. Yeah, what do you have any initial thoughts? I have some ideas.
I guess mainstream appeal, yeah. If it's somebody that likes video games and can do that kind of, 4 or 6 are probably the best choices because they're evolved enough in the series while still having a lot of the basics that it's still a Final Fantasy game through and through, and far more engaging and things like that. So I would definitely go with one of those two.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the other camp, whereas as someone who didn't really grow up with the Final Fantasy series, like my first one was, a little bit of like 7 and 8, but I never owned them. I played a little bit of I borrowed a couple of copies, but in terms of the one I really sunk my teeth into was 10, and that's still my favorite. Yeah, I wonder if playing one of the more modern ones might work a little bit better, and then going back and doing these like Crystal Remaster, the Pixel Remaster ones as kind of more of a history lesson as to kind of getting an idea of where some of the stuff came from. Because again, maybe that's just because that's how my experience was, is that like I played like 10 and forward and then went back to some of the PS1 games, and then it was like, cool, Pixel Remasters 1 through 6, let's just play them back to back to back to get like a really good appreciation of what those games are and where things have led to. But I also, it really depends, because some of those games have not aged like super great.
No.
And I feel like if you going in without any appreciation for the series as a whole, without also being able to go back in time and discover them within that sort of, that conceptual, like that contextual time where it was like, yeah, this is what games were like back then, or this was actually different from all the other games back then. Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, and so that's probably not a bad jumping off point if you want something modern and like well designed, with the understanding that that is basically the top end level of where those games get to, and that everything else is kind of a little bit of a step back in terms of scope and obviously visual fidelity and kind of quality of life and things like that.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is if they go too far back, those quality of lives, that can be rough for a modern gamer sometimes.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Thankfully, like the Pixel remasters have some of those like increasing speed and changing experience stuff, and you can kind of play around with those games to make them a bit more, a bit friendlier. But it really depends on why you want to play games, Dan. I think that if you're a big story gamer, I think that the later Final Fantasies probably get a bit better in the narrative department in terms of like they have voice acting and like proper cutscenes and You know, like you can do facial expressions and mocap and all that kind of stuff that really kind of adds to it. But if you're kind of looking for the more like raw JRPG kind of gameplay stuff, the earlier games are definitely more pure in that regard. Yeah, pure, exactly, like almost like unfiltered, because they were like discovering and inventing concepts along the way. Like with one, especially, you
And they
know, the
literally
kind of
did,
like
yeah.
yeah, and like, you know, you got things like the job system and the class stuff, and you know, limit breaks, and yeah, and like how the magic system works and all those kinds of things. Um, yeah, I mean, like the story for the other ones are fine, but they are very like, again, it's like the Seinfeld problem, right? Of like when you go back and look at something and you're like, well, you're watching a show and you go back and watch Seinfeld and you're like, oh, this is just stuff that I've already seen. It's like, no, it's because this is where it came from. Like these are the progenitors of these things. Someone was talking about the Odyssey the other day and being like, wow, it's really weird that he just like, it's like, oh yeah, so the teacher character's name is Mentor, and it's like, yeah, that's where the word comes from. That's why we
Yeah.
call people mentors, is because it's referring to this character in the Odyssey. Like, that's why we call it an Odyssey, is because his name was Odysseus. Anyway, it's just like, it's those things where it's historically relevant, and I think it's really, really helpful to do. But if you're looking for a game, something you will enjoy that has all the modern sensibilities, I think you probably want to play. Yeah, probably the 7 remake is probably the most pure. If you want something that's a little bit more hybridy, Final Fantasy 16 is good on this sort of like actually, I mean, Final Fantasy 16 has come almost its own thing. It's very different in terms of like its tone and its gameplay. And like I like it a lot, but it is not, it's a lot of people are like, it's not really Final Fantasy in that traditional sense. Yeah, so if I was going to recommend someone, I'd say maybe like, yeah, 7 remake, maybe 9 and 10. And maybe 15, just to kind of get a bit of a spread. I don't know. Yeah, just like if I'm thinking more modern games for sure. And
Yeah, I
thankfully,
totally
like,
forgot about the 7 remakes. Those are a great call.
yeah, I'm playing Rebirth at the moment, and I will go into it extensively at the end of the when we get to what we've been playing, because it's pretty much all I've had time for. But yeah, 7 Rebirth I think is 7 Remake is probably a good starting point, because it kind of is like, cool, modern sensibilities. It's short enough that you kind of get an idea of the story, and and if you're interested in it, then you've got 2 more games to play afterwards. So it's like you kind of get that continuation without having to just kind of drop everything. And then you kind of maybe go out from there and explore, kind of either go back and do pixel remasters for older stuff, or look at the games further on, like 10, 12, 13. 13 maybe is a bit of a mixed bag, but 10 and 12 are kind of interesting. Actually, 10 and 12 are actually really good ones to do, because 10 is a very traditional turn-based JRPG. It's probably the most pure Final Fantasy in terms of like how that game works, if you look at it as a kind of reflection of the old games. Whereas like 12, 13, 15, they're very different in terms of like different kind of mechanics, active time battle stuff, closer to 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, I could talk Final
And I
Fantasy
used to
all
play
day.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is probably the best one to play.
Yeah, Mystic Quest is an interesting one. Yeah. Or you could do Final Fantasy. What are Final Fantasy Adventure, which is just Secret of Mana.
Yeah, the original Manas, yeah.
Yeah, the original Mana. Yeah. Speaking of Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 7 in particular, there has been some chatter around what's happening with Revelation. So obviously, Revelation is the 3rd part in the Final Fantasy 7 trilogy, which is crazy. We talked a bit about it last week, where Hamaguchi, who's the director, was talking about, you know, people have asked him like what would be the next one to remake, and so he's talked about how it's like it would basically be impossible to tell most of these stories in the way that they did for 7, considering they managed to keep most of the same team. Like it's insane that 7 they managed to get, well, almost managed again. They haven't released part 3 yet, but managed to get 7 of these games, or 3 of these games out about one game with basically the same team over a somewhat reasonable time period.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, I mean, remake to Rebirth took a bit longer, but Rebirth to Revelation is looking a lot tighter. And so he's also talked about how like the base game is basically going to run through the entire story. They did DLC for remake, which was kind of a side story with a little bit of forward content, a little bit of like backstory for Yuffie in particular. But it's kind of talked about how like they're not going to do like a DLC epilogue kind of like cut off at the end and suddenly make you buy an ending or whatever. It'll be very much like spin-off stuff, which might be like Dirge of Cerberus or something along those lines, or something completely new, which would be great. I think that the Final Fantasy VII world that they've kind of built, and I'll talk a bit about this in Rebirth, is like so rich in terms of the amount of assets they've built and the kind of world that they've done that you could easily do a bunch of spin-off stuff. And like Final Fantasy VII has heaps of spin-off media because it's a absolutely beloved game.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Yeah, with the Advent Children.
Yeah, I would love to see some of all the spin-off content that came out. I mean, they had cell phone games in Japan.
Yeah.
They had Dirge of Cerberus, like you mentioned. It'd be cool to wrap that into this gameplay model. Like wrap it in like as DLC or something,
Yeah.
or some, you know what I mean? Just adapt those stories into this this engine and this world that they've had as DLC. Or its own game, I guess, whatever. But hopefully it doesn't just end.
Yeah, well, apparently on the Epic Store, they had some sort of like story expansion pass that looks like it was going to be for DLC. Again, whether that's actually true or not, or just placeholder, we're not sure. But yeah, I guess like Rebirth didn't get any DLC. Like it was just kind of like it is the middle chapter, so maybe it doesn't make sense to give it DLC. But they did DLC for Remake, so
Yeah.
That's
probably why we're getting the third one so fast, though. Like they're just like get on that next one, please.
Exactly. There's like we built the engine, we built most of this fucking world. We don't just have to do Midgar. We had to do the whole world. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see how Revelation goes because I think that like I'm getting towards the end of Rebirth and I kind of know roughly where the story will cut off because there are 3 pretty big acts in that game. But a lot of the third part of that game, like a lot of the third part of Final Fantasy VII is kind of going back to old areas and kind of doing a bunch of side quest stuff. Or like, you know, like there's a part where you revisit Midgar and that's where all the optional bosses, and it feels a lot like, it feels like the third act in a lot of games where it's like, cool, most of the story is kind of mostly wrapped up. There's a few more things to do and kind of we're getting to the big end of stuff. But also, now's the time to do all the side quest stuff. So I'm curious, like how big Revelation is going to be because Rebirth is a big fucking game. So like even if they were going to do DLC, like what would that even look like? I don't know. I mean, like yeah, Dirge Cerberus or mobile. They also didn't they do that like online mobile battle royale for Final Fantasy VII or whatever, some stupid shit. I can't remember what it was called. It was some weird.
I don't remember.
It was some weird battle royale thing where you were one of the soldiers, and like you get 100 soldiers jump out of a plane or whatever, have to fight on a bat. I don't know. It's just I think.
Oh yeah, no, that's ringing a bell. Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, a Final Fantasy VII spinoff, and it's like, yeah, it's a mobile, some battle royale multiplayer bullshit, and everyone's like, oh, okay, just fucking kill me.
Or adapt the movie and bring that into, because I know they've changed a little things here and there and like the remakes.
Yeah, remake has changed quite a lot.
Story into it.
Well, remake in particular doesn't change too much, but Rebirth definitely does. And there's in-universe reasons for that. I'm just again, I'm getting towards the end of Rebirth, and I'm like, I know what's coming. Like I know the story beat, right?
Yeah,
but it's like, what's the twist? Because nothing has been as expected. There's been like, okay, cool, I understand this. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, this character showed up early, or and I'll talk about it when we get to it. But I've really been loving
subverting expectations.
Yeah, for sure. Which is like, how do you do that when it's the most beloved, well chronicled game potentially of the entire Final Fantasy generation. Next story here is that Xbox's disc to digital, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, is a bit of a rumor. Apparently might be coming as soon as this month. So there was a leaked document explaining that, yep, this is basically happening. The Verge reports that apparently it's been sent out to developers. So there was supposed to be some beta last month to kind of test some of this stuff, but that obviously it didn't happen, or if it did, it didn't get leaked out. So I guess we'll see if this is like, okay, does the beta come out this month and they delay it another month, or how long does this go? But if you didn't know, it's looking like that Xbox are going to allow you to put in a Xbox One or Series X game disc and have that basically give you a digital license to that game, as long as no one else uses that disc. And so you don't have to use the discs anymore. You basically just get an entitlement to that game, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, which allows like cloud gaming and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, which again, like Play Anywhere title also gives you a PC version. But obviously that's not going to work for previous games because this is very much like they serialized every single disc they put out for that Xbox One generation because this is basically the plan they had from the beginning.
Yeah, but then even then they said that only certain, like some discs might not have that encoding on it, so they wouldn't be available.
Yeah, so I'm really curious to see like how they message this and how effective it is. I mean, I've got a few discs lying around that I'll probably chuck into the system and get my things and then just snap the disc in half because I don't need it anymore. Yeah, I don't know. But I think it's cool. I guess we'll see.
If I were them, I would, if they're smart, they would couch this in the whole PS Sony announcement.
Yes.
And kind of play it off that. That'd be really smart.
Well, there are also talks, I haven't put it in here in the news, but there are rumors that it's looking like the Project Helix is going to continue to support discs, and they've decided that actually they do want to keep them.
At this point, they kind of have to. That's such an easy win at this point.
Yeah.
It would be really stupid not to make that extra effort.
Yeah, exactly. In other Xbox news, price hikes. It's so we had price hikes for the US a couple weeks ago. It looks like that's rolling out for the rest of the world now, especially in Europe. Price hikes are as much as 50% extra in terms of, I think the Series X went from £400 to £600 or 400 euros to 600 euros. Not unexpected, like this is just like, again, we'll do this fucking story every week because prices just keep going up.
Yeah.
And these manufacturers, they can't really afford to not pass those on to consumers. Well, I mean, actually, fuck them. Microsoft can afford to do it, but they won't. But yeah, it's never
already sold out through 2027. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's never been a worse time to build a PC or get into the hardware race because holy fucking shit. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'm really hoping that prices at least start coming down. I mean, we've talked this to death in terms of like what this means for next gen and all that kind of stuff, and it's just kind of the same story every week. Unfortunately, it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Next story here is we talked. I don't know if we talked about it, but the God of War TV show is being recast because Ryan Hurst, who was playing Kratos, who I believe voiced Thor in the original game, his head's, I believe, has some sort of like bicep tear or something like really rough during a stunt, and so he's out. And so unfortunately they've recorded like a couple of episodes of them already, so they're gonna have to redo it all. And so it looks like Dave Bautista is in talks to play that role now instead, considering he just came off another movie, and so he's already looking pretty buff apparently. Like he had to bulk up for that, and so they're like, well, you're already in shape. You've acted in movies before. Video game stuff is not that hard. Yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. Because I believe he's also looking to star in the Gears of War movie as well, which, I guess kind of makes sense.
That's such a perfect casting.
Yeah, for Batista, yeah, like I think he'd make a great Marcus Phoenix. But yeah, again, he's been in proper movies too. He's obviously Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in Blade Runner. And I mean, it's funny because he was just talking about how he wanted to slim down and do like more movie roles, but everyone's like, bro, we need you to be beefy. You got to play God of War and Gears of War. And like, so you need to have like crazy muscles, get back on the test. Like, come on. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, apparently he's been doing the Highlander reboots, which is why he's in such good shape. And so I guess we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I mean, I do feel bad for Ryan Hurst because it's like that sucks to be like, hey, guess what? Your recovery is going to take too long, so we're going to have to recast you. But yeah,
I've had a name like Hurst.
Yes, nominative determinism.
Hurst hurt himself. Oh man.
Yeah. And then apparently the God of War stuff is going to have some more casting, like recasting stuff happening as well, because apparently the next season for the show will be like a time skip up to Ragnarok, so they're going to have to recast some of the characters into older versions of them with other actors. Yeah, I guess I'll be really curious to see. I'm actually like, as someone who doesn't get to play the more recent God of War games, I'm really interested to see if this has that same appeal and that same sort of zeitgeist that The Last of Us kind of did. Where people were kind of that first season, especially, people were like, that's all people were talking about in terms of like HBO's The
Yeah, it
Last
was a
of
big
Us.
deal.
Second season, not so much, but yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts? You interested?
Was it on Prime? Maybe. I'll check it out. I've never played any of the newer Gears of War games, so same with Last of Us. I don't really have any touchstone for it, so watching a show or movie is great because I don't
Yeah.
have any expectations really.
No
As long as
preconceived
it's a good
notions.
show or a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I'll check it out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it is interesting to see how much video game stuff is like, they realize there's money to be made in there.
Yeah, I think my daughter just finished Twisted Metal season 2, so.
Oh yeah, I heard Twisted Metal is actually pretty good. Like, people seem to be liking it.
It's stupid fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a stupid fun garbage show. So, big fan.
Yeah, I might have to check that out actually. Yeah, I saw a trailer for the new Street Fighter movie when I went to see the Odyssey with this, and that looks.
Speaking of stupid fun.
Oh, that looks real fucking stupid.
Yep.
I mean, you got like Cody Rhodes and God, who else? This Roman Reigns is in it. Like, they got a bunch of wrestlers and
Jason Momoa is Blanca.
yes, which is like crazy. The casting is just insane. I'm really curious to see how that goes. I don't think it'll be good, but it might be enjoyable. I will definitely do a lights, camera, and action for it because it feels like the exact perfect fit for that movie, especially considering we did the '90s version as well. So
yeah.
Looking forward to that. I don't know if I'll go see it in theaters. Don't know if I want to give them money for that, but we'll see. Ryu does throw a fireball at the end of it, though. That's it.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks like they're not pulling their punches with the video game-ness of it.
Yeah,
it is going to be Hadoukens and electric attacks from Blanca, and
yoga flames.
Big fan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm also curious on. I mean, I want to see how M. Bison does because I'll always be comparing him to Raul Julia, who just did the most perfect performance of that character.
Absolutely.
I went back and watched The Addams Family a few weeks back, and it's just still such a great fun movie. And that whole cast is just great.
Yeah, I'm about to say the writing's dumb, the movie's dumb, but man, the entire cast is playing it completely straight, and it works so well.
Yeah, Morticia
from Christina Ricci to Angelica Houston to Raul Julia, just amazing.
Exactly. And Christopher Lloyd, which I always forget. I was like, oh yeah, he's Fester. That's right. Electronic Arts, everyone's favorite. Used to be everyone's favorite. It's in the game logo thing, but like, what are they? I don't know. I want to talk about this afterwards, but Electronic Arts is basically they've confirmed their acquisition by the Saudis. That deal is done. But the deal does see them taking $18 billion in debt to basically make that deal, which is a shitload of money for a company that feels like it's done nothing relevant in the last several years. I don't know. I mean,
a while.
Like, I don't know. Like, EA used to be a powerhouse in the gaming space, and obviously everyone loved to hate them, and they won worst company in America 2 years running.
Over oil companies,
and fucking banks and shit, which is crazy. But yeah, people get passionate about their video games, right?
I sure do.
But yeah, it looks like they're going to be set for mass layoffs, which is something you hear a lot about in this industry, unsurprisingly. But in the EA front, it also means they're potentially going to be selling off some studios. It's my P. So there's been talk around apparently jettisoning BioWare and what that might look like. I don't even know who would buy it at this stage, considering the performance of their last, 3 games.
It's been a while since they did really well.
Yeah, who knows what happens with Respawn? I mean, DICE already had a bunch of people laid off and contractors stopped and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Battlefield apparently is not quite hitting where they want it to in terms of like its long tail stuff. Did well up front, but not keeping that acquisition up. We still haven't heard anything about the next Respawn Star Wars game. Apex Legends is kind of a known quantity at this point. I mean, the one thing they've got coming into, and then obviously there's this FC Sports and fucking Madden and sports stuff. Again, no one really talks about those things, but they're moneymakers. I'm sure they'll keep that stuff on board. But yeah, there's Bit Reactors, Star Wars XCOM thing, Zero Company, I think is coming out this year as well. Coming out like
let's say real soon.
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks or so. And that's the only thing I can kind of think of from EA that's actually recent. Yeah, I don't know.
Did they do Reanimal or did they do Little Nightmares? I thought they did one of those too.
But
they mainly do Hazelight has been their big thing for a little bit now because
that's true. Yeah, they've been publishing Hazelight's games. I completely forgot about that too. Yeah. Yeah, they're looking to cut $700 million in annual costs, which is an insane amount. I mean, what does that even mean? Including 170 million in organizational efficiencies, so mass layoffs. This could be, yeah. I mean, EA's already made layoffs. I mean, they do make layoffs. I mean, this is just kind of how corporate America works. They did 300 to 400 staff last year. Even Respawn, they cut 100 people. They canceled the Titanfall thing that they were doing. I don't think it was a third game, but it was like a spin-off or something. And they've been cutting left, right, and center. Like Need for Speed is dead. I mean, like I don't know. Just like I don't understand why. Again, I talked about this last week, where it's like go and check out the Games Business. I think interview around why the Saudis are so interested in getting involved in cultural things like F1 and golf and video games. But it seems like it's why would you want to buy EA? I just don't. I mean, I guess the value is in the sports licensing stuff, right? It was like FC and Madden and The Sims, maybe. I guess, or maybe the three things.
I mean, they've been big into WWE, and they're trying to get involved in all these sports things. So EA, in that way, would make the most sense for their needs.
True.
So they can continue to, whitewash their reputation and everything.
Yeah, I guess, what does that mean for the other? This feels like a very similar to an Xbox situation, where it's like they're basically just jettisoning and cutting off the bits of the business they don't think are profitable enough for them to basically keep on as cost centers. And I feel like we could see a lot of studio closures, and again, like who's going to buy? Who wants to buy any of these EA studios that have basically just been driven into the ground over the last generation? As much as I'd love to see Bethesda, do their spin on Mass Effect or whatever, I just don't see it happening, because I don't know who can afford to buy any of those EA studios.
And there ain't no way Microsoft's going to let Xbox do any of that right now.
Exactly. And that would be the only, again, because the Xbox was the acquisition. Microsoft and Xbox were the acquisition house in terms of like getting some of that content. I mean, maybe THQ Nordic picks up some of this stuff at cheap at a fire sale, maybe, but even then, I don't know. Like and obviously a lot of these studios are legacy studios that don't really have the original people there anymore and haven't put out great games in quite a while. But it is sad to be like, well, Criterion, Ghost Games, anyone who did like Burnout, Need for Speed, any of the Command & Conquer stuff, like all the Westwood stuff. There's a bunch of like really great IP there that I wonder, hopefully they can go somewhere and not just end up just being thrown in a vault somewhere, which is basically what it's doing right now.
As far as just Battlefield 2042, they still got going, right? I think that's still popular enough.
Yeah.
And then I think one of their main money makers is Sims, and it's very curious to see how someone that's so against everything that Sims stands for, essentially, because I know it's how popular it is in LGBTQ spaces and stuff. It's going to be interesting, probably very frustrating to watch, but interesting to see how they handle that, considering that is one of their main money makers.
Yeah, and EA came out and said that nothing was basically going to change in that front, and which I'm like, on the one hand, I'm like, that doesn't sound right, but I'm also like, every single human being will, every single human being involved in this business venture would basically bend their morals and personal beliefs if it means they make more money, right? And if they make more money from The Sims by allowing people to do all that kind of stuff rather than cracking down on it, then chances are they'll just fucking leave it and go whatever, and they'll just
and honestly, since it's in America, and not their country, I honestly don't think they're going to crack down on that at all.
Yeah,
because yes, they are just trying to get into our spaces and say, hey, look, we are not you know,
We're not
horribly
journalists
bloodthirsty
killing.
regime, and
Yeah.
So look at us. You can play The Sims. Hey, look at that. All the gay. Yeah, cool.
Oh, man, it's just
Don't hate us.
Yeah. I mean, I would not be surprised. To be fair, considering how the other ventures have been going for the Saudi wealth fund, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the closure of EA in the next couple of years, because the golf thing didn't work out super great for them. Esports has been an absolute fucking nightmare. The whole fucking SNK thing, like I'm just, yeah, I really couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of people, but I'm worried about the people surrounding EA, those kind of, great studios that they've had and those great IPs that they have that are just kind of are going to be lost to time.
Yeah, Ben Solomon needs to like ditch his financial advisors because they're not doing too great.
Yeah,
helping him.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, I understand the strategy, but like, I feel like it's they're losing all their money on it. But eventually they'll build that that giant line city thing that they were talking about, which is definitely happening.
Sure,
100%, 100% going to happen. This is just a quick one, but Beast of Reincarnation came out this week, actually, on the 4th. And for those who don't know, it is the sort of Sekiro-style action game. Sekiro meets Nier Automata in terms of vibes. You are you're a motionless person fighting a bunch of robots. Who are the real robots? You are the person. You have a dog. There's some weird nature stuff going on. It's like post-apocalypse, like the year 4000. Nature's taken over stuff. There's weird stuff going on. Reviews are kind of all over the place. Most people not really digging it, or at least there's some major problems in terms of technical performance. Made by Game Freak. I should also mention who are the people who make the Pokemon games, proving that that it's not just Pokemon. They can't really make a technical game to save their lives. It's on Game Pass, but they are talking about how they've basically got a bunch of updates coming. The talk I've heard about this game is that it feels kind of stretched and a little bit content thin, especially with like reused bosses, reused enemies, the kind of thing where it's like a 10-hour game stretched out to 20 was kind of the last, when I was reading a review, kind of the way that goes. I probably will check this out at some stage because it is on Game Pass. But yeah, curious to see where it goes. I don't know. Have you heard anything about it?
It's literally what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a very okay game. I have not heard too much in the extremes. It definitely seems to be mostly in the middle, where it's just like, this is a game. It sure is. I know the tutorial's supposed to be miserable.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that they are planning on fixing and updating this.
It'd be nice. It's nice that it's getting supported, because that's not always a given these days with these kinds of games. But to be fair, Game Freak, if anyone have money, it's them.
I would sure hope so.
Yeah. What if they do a Pokemon crossover? You get a Pikachu. You can turn your wolf into a yellow electric rat.
If anyone at Game Freak even thought of suggesting that, Nintendo would swoop in and murder their family. So I doubt that's gonna happen.
I said this during, I think it was because they've shown this game off a lot. Like it was at like State of Play, I think, and then it was at the Xbox Showcase and all this. They've done a bunch of stuff. And it was like the amount of times that Game Freak said the word Pokemon because it was like developer stuff, and it was like they said it like 4 or 5 times within like a 5-minute trailer.
That's their claim to fame, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this really feels like it's just all the worst versions of that. Kirby, Chin Doctor in our Discord has started the game at least, and so he's kind of doing a bit of a play-by-play. So be curious to hear from him how it goes. And then the biggest news this week, which just got announced, is that there's going to be an extended look at GTA 6 on August 27th. So not too far away, towards the end of the month. But the big sort of caveat on that is that it's going to launch exclusively on Netflix.
For 6 hours.
For 6 hours, and then it'll be on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. So like, it almost feels like a huge fucking waste of time. But okay, what are your initial thoughts? I have some ideas, but I want to hear, like, just reading that headline and kind of getting this idea of like what the fuck's going on.
I think this is a great idea because there are probably a lot of people that still exist that do not know that a game like Grand Theft Auto can be a thing. Like there our age or older, and their kids are playing a Roblox, some garbage Roblox thing, or maybe they're seeing Fortnite, or they maybe played arcade games as a kid, and they don't realize just what video games can be. And getting this in front of the layman is exactly why they're putting on Netflix,
Yeah.
because this is going to be, you know, when you load up Netflix, it'll be the front thing, and people are gonna be like, ooh, what's this? And a lot of people are going to realize that this is a thing. And it's back to our previous conversation about The Last of Us. Like, a lot of people jumped on and played video games for the first time in forever for Last of Us.
True.
And to try it out. And same with
Fallout TV show, same thing happened.
Yep. Fallout, yep. So yeah, no, this is I'm sure there are a lot of money moved hands.
Oh yeah.
And I know why. This is going to be probably huge for Rockstar. It'll probably get them a lot more attention. And honestly, it's kind of nice to see this, because this means it's definitely coming out here in a few months.
That's
There ain't
true,
no way
yeah.
they're delaying it now.
True. Yeah, they started spending the marketing dollars. It's a good point. The timed exclusivity thing also just makes me feel like, what's the point? Like, I know, like, it's to get the headline, right? It's like, it's exclusively Netflix for 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the first time they've kind of done this kind of thing with Netflix, so I can understand them putting their best foot forward. And I mean, let me put it this way: do you think this is something that's going to happen again, or is this a uniquely GTA 6 kind of thing?
This is definitely a uniquely GTA thing. I just don't see a Pokemon game, you know, being worth this effort. It's just, as cinematic as Grand Theft Auto is, a lot of people just at least know of Grand Theft Auto.
Sure.
Maybe they don't know what it looks like or what it is nowadays, but they've heard of it. I mean, it's been in the headlines since Hillary Clinton and all that garbage back in the 90s.
Yeah, true.
So, or early 2000s, whatever it was. So, yeah, no, this is definitely a Grand Theft Auto thing. I can't see them pulling this with anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I potentially could see something on the cross media side of things. I mean, obviously that you say, like, you know, people don't know what GTA 6 looks like. We don't know what GTA 6 looks like. Like, we haven't seen any fucking gameplay of this game, right? I mean, we saw a trailer, sure, but like in terms of an actual proper extended look at this game, this will be the first time we're seeing it as well. Now, you know, chances are there won't be anything in particular that's going to surprise us here. You know, like, I don't think we're going to hear about a new fucking side-scrolling RPG system, or you know, some sort of gacha mechanics or some shit. I don't know, but like,
there's to be gacha mechanics.
Oh, there will be.
There'll be like a capsule machine or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it's gonna be. It'll be Grand Theft Auto 5 plus.
Yeah, it's a known quantity for the most part. I mean, it looks. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic game.
It looks so pretty.
But like, I think that most people who play games will probably have a pretty good idea of what this is going to be. I'm curious to see how long this is going to run for, and kind of what place it takes in terms of, like, is this like you open it up and it's the first thing on Netflix for the next 5 months until the game comes out, or is it?
It probably will be,
right. Like, I imagine the Rock. Yeah, I don't know. It just, Rockstar's probably paying a pretty penny for it, but it almost feels like August. Like, August is too early to be doing this kind of thing for the layman, right? It's usually something you would do. Oh, hey, guess what? It's coming out now or next week, or because how many people are going to watch that trailer and go, "Oh, yeah, I'll remember that," and go and buy it? I mean, maybe it's just because, like, you see it every time you open up Netflix. Maybe it's more like a always on thing. And I'm sure they'll have ads for, they'll use whatever this is as an ad on YouTube forever. I'm curious to see. Yeah, if you're treating it like prestige television, I could definitely see a future where, you know, someone puts, like, Prime Video puts out like the next season of Fallout or whatever, and they also show a trailer for the new Fallout game beforehand or something, or, you know,
if Microsoft was smart, that would be the thing that happens.
Like, this is the thing. It's like, I'm starting to think that, you know, as an idea, this might be something that you kind of do as like a cross media piece when you have something relevant. Obviously, GTA is obviously its own thing, but if you're doing a Street Fighter movie and you're showing the Street Fighter movie, you might as well show off the latest Street Fighter game as an ad beforehand or afterwards or during or whatever the fucking thing is, right? Just, again, how those deals work out and who pays for them and all that sort of shit, I wonder, is probably an absolute minefield. But I mean, are you going to check this trailer out? Are you interested?
Yeah. I mean, it's I haven't played a GTA game in forever. San Andreas is one of the things I dove, so I will be finally soon. But yeah, no, it's still a cultural thing to witness. It's going to be very pretty. I mean, that trailer was so cool. The one that we have
Yeah.
seen. So no, I'll absolutely check this out. I won't check it on. I won't check it on Netflix. I don't know about everyone else, but for a long time, Netflix has been horrendous streaming quality.
Yeah.
So absolutely not. But I'll watch on YouTube, and I'm sure I'll read everyone's reactions to it, which also is why it is a 6-hour window. I mean,
Yeah.
in this culture, after 6 hours, by the time it comes to YouTube, that's old news.
Basically, yeah.
In this industry. So how many influencers and streamers and bloggers and everyone's going to just either turn on their Netflix or get a Netflix subscription just to react to this and talk about it and write about it? And no, they're going to make bank off this, man.
That's what I also don't understand, though. Is, I mean, like, if you wanted to do like capture for this, you have to basically wait for the YouTube version because OBS basically doesn't work on Netflix, all that kind of stuff. Like, they have things in place to stop you from streaming these things. Maybe they make an exception for this, but it just feels like the main footage, the main thing people are going to see within those 6 hours is going to be some person holding a phone, watching the trailer on their TV, pointing at it, not holding it stable, and just being like, "Yo, yo!" So you can't hear anything, and it's just going to be like, and it'll be in like 240p, and like it'll be in vertical, and you'll be like, "I can't see fucking anything. What the fuck is this?"
Yep. It'll be on TikTok, and it'll get 2.5 million views.
Exactly, and that person's going to retire.
That's just
after
how
that.
it works, man.
They'll just exactly.
No, this will be a big deal. There's gonna be it's gonna be every social media thing's gonna have clips of this and reactions to it, and man, our lives are gonna be Grand Theft Auto for the next like 6, 7, 8 months.
Oh Christ,
minimum.
Yeah, I'm really I mean, like I'm interested in the game. I'm not a big GTA fan. Like again, like you, I haven't played one of them in quite a while. I enjoyed 5 for the most part, but that was back on the 360. So we'll see what this looks like. I didn't play Red Dead 2. Like I haven't really been in the Rockstar camp for a while, but I am curious to see what comes out of this trailer in terms of like what they talk about, what they highlight, and how they message it. I think is actually more interesting than what's actually in the game in terms of like what are the things, because this is because they realize this is going out to normies and it's going on Netflix and it's going to be out there for people who probably may have played GTA like way back in the day or remember hearing about it, or are just interested in kind of crime prestige television stuff. Like, how do you build a trailer with that as the focus as opposed to something you throw up at like Game Awards or Summer Games Fest where you're like, hey, fucking nerds, here's some shit, like, here, check out this trailer. I don't know. I'm really curious to see. I also don't know how long it's going to be, but
well, less than 6 hours, we know that much.
Yes, less than 6. Exactly, 5-hour look. So I guess we'll of course we'll report on it and talk about it and watch it when it comes out at the end of the month.
When was it again? August 27th. Oh, so end of the month. All right.
Yep. So about 3 weeks away. And that's pretty much it for the news. It's pretty quiet. I was just having a look to see if there's anything else going on.
Well, Gamescom's coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be the big more news drop before GTA hits, and then what after that's going to be what Game Awards. So
because Gamescom is the opening night live with Keighley, and then Game Awards in November usually.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Again, I talked about this last week, but it's like it's pretty quiet in terms of news and releases at the moment. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or it's just an indication of the industry. Apparently Take-Two had an impairment. They basically said that they had they took a $43 million impairment on some other game that they're working on that they cancelled that we've never heard of.
Yeah, I just saw that the THQ showcase happened.
Yes, there was. Yeah, not a lot there. They showed off.
Let's sing ABBA. Let's do it.
Yep.
Let's go.
Great. I mean, like, I love ABBA. Being a Swede, I kind of am contractually obligated to. But, Reanimal's getting a DLC. Eternal Life of Goldman looked really interesting. That was that one with that
Yes.
We got a trailer for a little while ago. It looked really cool. But
Mostly sequels.
yeah, and then
A
Wreckfest 2,
couple, at least.
which I liked. Yeah, nothing too exciting.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look see if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it. It's pretty quiet at the moment. Oh, Tomodachi Life apparently did like 8 million units, which is crazy.
God, man.
Yeah.
That just shows the power of like penetrating that Gen Z, Gen Alpha
Fucking
market.
meme
Good
shit.
lord.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's that fucking
That
Roblox
definitely is why that
audience.
sold that well. It makes me so happy seeing them play something else. Oh my god, thank you. Get off the Roblox, please.
Anything
There are
for
other
that.
video games.
Speaking of which, did you see the trailer for the new Chris Hansen movie?
Robert Pattinson? Is
Yeah,
that the
Rob
one?
Pattinson as Chris Hansen. It looks fucking
He looks so creepy.
It looks insane. It's like it's an
Yeah.
A24 Pictures thing, and so it's like, you know, they're always going to take an alternate sort of alternate look at it in terms of the way they
Yeah.
shoot it. But the thing looks like it's like Nightcrawler. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah. They picked a tone and they went with it.
Yeah. All right. Game Pass updates. Do you want to run through those?
Sure. August 6th, we got Monsters Are Coming for Windows for premium. August 6th also brought Power Wash Simulator 2 down to the premium level. August 11th saw Bounty Star come down to premium. All the same day, Date Everything came to Game Pass Ultimate. I bought another game I bought, never got around to, and now it's on Game Pass. Cool. And PC Game Pass. August 11th also brought Grounded 2 down to premium. August 12th, Ball Pit dropped down to premium. August 13th, Cricket 26, the official game of the Ashes, joined Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass and premium. August 13th, Memories in Orbit, MIO, joined premium. August 13th, Sandustry joined Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass for PC only. And then August 18th, Egging On dropped down to Game Pass Premium. And then if you haven't got on it, you've got what? A few days.
About a week.
Games leaving is Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sand, Menace on Windows only, Aliens Fireteam Elite, and Firewatch.
Yeah, Firewatch is a good one. That's a nice short one. If you haven't done it, just fucking do it. It's a cool game. Is it just me, or is this a very weak lineup if you're an alt? I mean, in terms of like, if we strip out all the stuff coming down to premium, you end up with...
Which I always do.
Yeah, which is, again, because I always do that as well, because I'm on Ultimate. Date Everything, which apparently is quite good. So I know Kirby played it a lot, and he was nearly one of the first people to finish it. Cricket, which I don't think anyone cares.
It's 3 games.
And then, and even Sandustry is like an automation game. It's only for PC. So if you're on a PC gamer, you got 2 games this month. One of them is a sports game, which you're probably not going to play. So Date Everything is basically your only thing that you're getting for the first wave. Now, I know there's some stuff coming in the second wave. You've got the new Plague Tale coming out at the end of the month, and a few other bits and pieces. And we just had Beast of Reincarnation this week as well. So there are still a few things, but it definitely feels like, I mean, maybe it's just like this time of year and there's some other stuff going on, but it does feel like the Game Pass train is maybe slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely slow down for now. We'll see how that keeps up. It is weird that they didn't include Beast of Reincarnation for their Wave 1 announcement.
Yeah, well, I think it was in the previous one because it was like August 4th or whatever. Because they've been getting a bit slow about getting these like wave announcements out. They're really good about telling you when the games are leaving, but not so great about telling you when they're going to be joining.
Yeah, I do hate the way everyone reports on things dropping down to premium. Like, stop it.
Yeah, it's like,
stop
no,
it, just... guys. You're playing into their game. 3 games launched the Game Pass. That's it. This wave.
And
stop it.
It's really interesting to me because, you know, just talking about Game Pass as a whole, they've definitely, you know, when they made the price changes for Ultimate, they committed to a certain amount of day one games on Ultimate. I'm really curious to see if they're going to hit that number and if they're going to get called out on that. Because I don't feel like there's been. I mean, maybe it's just because it's like this stuff I've already played, so I don't really think about it, or it's like, you know, or things coming back into the system that I've already done. But I'd be really curious to see that count now that we're, you know, getting towards the second half. We're in the second half of the year. How many games have actually come day one to Game Pass Ultimate?
That's a good question.
Because at this stage, like, it doesn't really feel like Ultimate's always the best value anymore. With so much stuff coming to premium. I mean, it depends on if you want to play things day and date, but still. We also have the Patreon, patreon.com/HaulerGamers. If you want to help support the show, a huge thank you to Old Mate Clown, Cavalier07, Hack'n'Pone, Kung Fu Skills, Happy Moogles, Admiral Awesome, Natolinator, Lee Howard, Left Legacy, Venoms AU, and William Johnson for making the show possible. We literally couldn't afford to do it without you guys, so thank you all so much. You can also join as a free member and get access to our back catalogue of old extra episodes that we've done of things like Lights, Camera, and Action, a couple of our spoiler casts. So yeah, go check that out. And feel free to sign up for free or to give us some money. All right, monthly theme, which is Game Hog Day, which is playing games that require more than one playthrough to complete. For July and August, we've got a channel on our Discord that you can go and put those games in there and talk about them. Let us know what you're playing, what you're working on, what you're kind of grinding away at. I've been playing quite a few of them. Most of the games I've been playing turns out require multiple playthroughs. So I'm just going to keep adding stuff in there because games don't understand brevity at all. Let's get into what we're playing. Shane, it's been a couple weeks since you've been on. What's been happening?
Let's see. The main one I did was I jumped into one of my games that I dove because it also tied into a July TA target. Is Dungeons and Dragons: Chronicles of Mystara.
Oh yeah,
I hated that game.
Really?
Yeah. It is a compilation of 2 Dungeons and Dragons. I think they're from the 90s, I want to say, arcade games.
Yeah.
And there is almost no tweak to the gameplay. So they play like arcade games that are made to suck the quarters out of you.
Yes.
To the point where I constantly died. It's just frustrating. There's an optional boss in the first game, Tower of Doom, that you literally have to just die to a bunch before you can even start fighting it. It's so dumb. I don't know. The second game is a lot better. I'll admit, Shadow over Mystara is a lot more enjoyable, but I still died a lot. Just constantly getting knocked down, constantly getting cheap shots. It's so frustrating. I don't miss that era of gaming at all. It's an easy completion, at least.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, it looks like, and I finished it back in 2014, so I don't remember too much about it.
2014, wow.
Yeah, a long time ago.
When did it come out? You played it the year after it came out. All right.
Yeah, I think I must have grabbed it on a sale or something. I have no idea why.
Probably.
Because it's not my kind of game at all. But no one else of my friends list has even finished it. So,
yeah, it's an easy completion. It's a bit of a chore, but it's fairly short. It's 12 hours ish. It's nothing super difficult. I mean, there's no penalty. I died a lot. But there's no penalty for dying.
No,
you have infinite credits and continues. So yeah, it's a pain, but it is what it is. And then there's a little RNG with the drops that you need because you have to collect every item at least once in the game.
Yeah.
I will give it credit. It's pretty cool the way that they were able to boil down a Dungeons and Dragons tabletop game, you know what I mean, to an arcade platform. I'll give them that. You have branching paths, you can make decisions, you have different classes, they have different spells, they have spell slots. Like, I'll give them
it translates pretty well.
I can see why these are fairly well-loved, nostalgic games for a lot of people. I just hated them.
No, I think
maybe it would be more fun with friends because I think they're 4-player co-op. But
yes, that's right. I mean, and like at an arcade cabinet, I feel like you kind of is part of the experience, right?
Yeah, no kidding. But what'd you play?
So I have not. Okay, I've been gaming a fair amount this week, but also we recorded the last episode on Monday, so I have not had as much time to game as I normally would have. Having said that, I got I finally got my series reward achievement for Forza Horizon 6, so now it's just the online grind to do. Glad to get that done.
Nice.
I finished up the DLC for Doom: The Dark Ages. So I talked a bit about that last week. I really like the DLC. Is great. I had a really good time with it. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's maybe like 5 to 6 hours. Still has all the assist stuff, so you can play it on like super easy difficulty. They've added, I really like what they've done with the spear. They've kind of added in the dashes from Doom Eternal. They've added in a couple of new abilities. There's some new parry mechanics and all that kind of some maneuverability stuff that I feel like are pretty good, but not amazing. And yeah, like you don't have to get literally every single collectible in the game, which is nice. It's like, okay, cool. Get these types of collectibles, do these missions. We'll tell you where the missions are. There are only like 4 maps, and you do have to replay them. But the second one, the second playthrough is a lot quicker, and you kind of get access to like little bonus missions and areas and stuff. Again, stuff that you've probably seen in the other games, but yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Again, story wise, no idea what the fuck's going on. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's just absolute, just like trash. But
That's pretty much what I've heard. Is everyone was kind of lukewarm on the base game, and then everyone that's come back for the DLC is like, "Oh, this slaps! Like
it,
the spear is awesome,
yeah,
and it's a lot of fun."
yeah. Like the thing is, like I like the base game. You know, I think it ended up on a Game of the Year list, and I think that like a lot of people were just kind of like, oh, this is not as like it's not as tactical as Doom Eternal, but it's also like not as like well defined and tight as something like 2016's Doom. And it's like, yeah, it's again, every one of those games is a different thing. But I think coming back to this, I was like, this is fucking still plays really well, and I really enjoy it. And
Mhm.
I think part of it is that they didn't do the thing where it's like in the base game they had those areas where it's like, hey, it's an open world area kind of thing, and you get to go around and do stuff and then finish up the mission afterwards. They were like, yeah, it was a fun experiment, but actually it's like between that and then like the giant robot fights and then like the dragon flight stuff, the stuff that people
Yep.
didn't like about Doom Eternal, they basically just took out of this DLC and like, okay, cool. Here's what's left. Here's just like tight gameplay, some exploration, some secrets, but mostly just like getting into an arena and fucking up some dudes. Great. And then I did the Quake DLC, but that barely counts. I've got. I'll talk about Rebirth
What
afterwards.
a random launch.
Yeah, they just apparently Machine Games put out. They were like, hey, guess what? We made another campaign for Quake, and you're like, cool. Jump to the last level, put in a kill all enemies cheat, and then no clip your way over to an item, and you're done with it in 10 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been playing. I'll talk about Final Fantasy Rebirth in a bit. But what else have you got?
I also jumped into the new, well, not really new by the time I got around to it, but Shift at Midnight,
Oh yes,
which is like
I want to play this. Yeah, come to
yep.
Game Pass.
Yeah, it's like supermarket simulator almost, but a little more watered down. But it's also a horror game. It is 3-player co-op. Not Papers, Please. It's one of the
Oh yeah, right.
Papers, Please likes, where you are working a convenience store in a world that like there are doppelgangers and everyone knows it's a thing. If you serve a doppelganger, they will summon the entity to come and murder your face at night.
Jesus.
So you have, people come up and they give you your ID, their ID, you check it, then you check the database to see if they're alive to start, because obviously if they're dead, they shouldn't be shopping at Midnight Mart. They have they might drop a hint like, oh, I'm here buying conditioner for my wife, and you go on and like, oh, this guy's last name is this, so you look at his wife, she's bald, shoot them.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you're looking
That's
for
also
lies.
that kind of thing. Yes. You get a scanner, and sometimes you scan them, and they're spooky. It's an oddly cozy horror game. Like once you get the groove down, it's pretty easy. Overall, it's an easy completion, very much so. The hardest is just you kind of need to know how to make money because you have to get a certain ending. I guess this kind of accounts for the bidimensional burden. Because you have to do at least 3 playthroughs. There's 3 endings you need.
Yep.
And the hardest achievement's one of the hardest endings. So it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's very fun. And then the Xbox hasn't gotten quite as many updates as the PC version because I watched someone play the PC version after I played this. So once you got down like, oh, this person comes in, okay, here's his doppelganger thing, or here's his real person thing, you get through pretty quick. And I think our fastest playthrough at the final ending was like 40 minutes.
Oh wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you can blow through it pretty quick. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it.
Oh, I'll give that one an install actually because I've been wanting to have a look at some co-op stuff as well. Give that a try.
And it was a little eerie and creepy. Like that's always nice. I was like feeling a little.
I like the fun kind of lo-fi style of it as well. It's very like polygonal and
yes.
Yeah. I also finished up Halo, which you'll see in the completions. A lot of people did. Halo, yeah. So Halo Campaign Evolved. Talked a bit about it last week with Keo because him, myself, Stubby, and Eccles ran through that a few times. That definitely counts for the bimestral burden because you need to do that game a bunch of times to get all the skulls, to do lasso, to do the remix. yeah, I think my thoughts are basically the same. Having fully completed it now, it's for Game Pass. It's a great get. If you haven't played Halo in a while, go on it. It's great. You can do there's the exploit to do lasso really easily, so you don't have to be too frustrated at it. The new content is kind of not great. I think the story direction sucks. The cutscenes in the game are bad, but the gunplay still feels good. It's still Halo. It still feels fun to play through. I just think there's a lack of variety in the new missions they did, and I'm really hoping that whatever they do next with Halo is a bit more interesting. But there's also rumors they're doing
I've heard.
Halo 2. But
Yeah, I've heard if you don't know that it's on Unreal 5, it just still feels like Halo.
For the most part,
you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, because it's based on the Halo Reach engine underneath it. So it has a lot of that.
The one game I played. Okay.
So again, it has the they've added things like you can pick up the energy swords in the first game, which you couldn't do. You can hijack vehicles. Like they've done some bringing some of the older games into the newer game to kind of improve it. There's also some of the bonus missions have weapons from Halo Reach, for example, that weren't in the base game. And when you play the remix, sometimes you can find those weapons. So they've done little bits of interesting parts, but there's no multiplayer. There's no firefight or any kind of other interesting bits. So once you're kind of done with the campaign, that's kind of it, which is okay. I think it didn't need to be a huge thing, but it's the kind of thing where if all you're going to do is the campaign, do a Resident Evil 2 thing where you basically completely remake it and do something different. And so it's yes, you recognize the bones and the story beats and the other bits and pieces, but do extra missions, completely change things. Like this, it is just Halo again. And this is the fourth time I've done it, between Master Chief Collection, the original game, the 360 remaster,
yeah, collectors, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay, it's good, but it's only good because Halo's good. And I was kind of the new missions are kind of disappointing, unfortunately. So if you have it on Game Pass Ultimate, give it a go. You'll probably have a good time if you enjoy Halo, but I wouldn't rush out and buy it or anything like that.
Yay, Halo.
And then Moonsomp says, yeah, broke a lot of the new missions by losing NPCs. Yeah, we had the same problem too. Like Sergeant Johnson getting stuck on geometry or not moving up to open doors and stuff. There's a bunch of trigger issues in that, which really suck.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Also, man, those cutscenes, just those animated cutscenes, what the fuck were they doing? Anyway, they look very stilted and AI-esque. I know that almost certain they weren't made with AI, but it definitely has that mogging the camera, glossy kind of weird feel to it, kind of lifeless.
It's Microsoft, so it might be AI.
They love that. Copilot, taking front and center on that.
Oh yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, and then I started for leaving Game Pass. I did start Atlas Fallen. Been enjoying that. I previewed it back when it was launched onto the service, and I definitely it felt. I was like, okay, when this leaves Game Pass, I definitely want to make sure I get to this. And,
yeah.
Well, the time has come. So, anyone doesn't know, it's I don't know how to explain it. It's an open world action game. You just run around, fight giant monsters, a lot of parrying, which I still can't get down very well. The achievements are fairly easy. Best part, even though it's open world, there's no missable achievements, which is always nice. I love just being able to play a game without having to worry about anything.
Yeah.
I got the one hard achievement tonight for completing a giant boss fight without taking any damage, which my throat hurts. That's fine. I got it. But I don't know how much I've gotten through. Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3 recordings, 3 hours each. So I'm good, almost 10 hours in.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you've made it past the first big door, I assume. So you're in the.
Yes, I just lifted the gate.
Gotcha. So. Yeah. So to pass the gate, then there's another. There's only 2 major areas in the game. It's the kind of thing where you're oh, it feels like.
Okay. Cool.
It reminds me a lot of Flintlock, where you're oh, I feel like. I feel like we do the rule of 3s here, and you've done the rule of 2s, and then a boss fight at the end.
I'm okay with that.
And again, at the end of it, I was that's fine. Actually, you didn't stretch it out. Atlas feels like a very similar game in that vein, where it's a lot of maneuvering, a lot of kind of relatively basic quest designs, a lot of open world kind of stuff, and then just kind of.
But I will say, when you get that combat down, it feels pretty good.
It does, yeah.
Reflect, fly sideways, slam them down, then do a super attack and just destroy everything. Feels amazing when you get it down.
Yeah.
But it's very frenetic, very frantic. You got to have at least fairly good reflexes to be able to manage everything without just die. You die fast, and it's weird because the more combo that I've never seen a game where if you're comboing and doing well, you start taking more damage, but while doling out more
Yeah,
damage.
it's an interesting
So
mechanic.
you could die very quickly all of a sudden because you're actually doing too well. It's very weird, and that's happened to me a few times. But overall, it's a pretty easy game, and I'm enjoying it enough. I'll have to calm down after tonight, and tomorrow when I play again, I'll probably feel a little better about it. But especially because I don't have to worry about fighting these goddamn monsters without getting hit anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been so. And then I know you have one big one to talk about.
Yeah, Atlas is an interesting one. It's like it took me 18 hours, so it wasn't too bad. They actually did quite a bit of work on the game to kind of improve it after it came out. Like they completely replaced the voice actor, like with Ben Starr. They redid a bunch of mechanics. So like the version that we're playing is actually like an updated version from when it was launched, where people had a lot of complaints about it. Didn't fix everything, but yeah, definitely some improvements.
I'll go back and watch my preview video and see what's different. Because I did remember. I remember skating through. I'm like, this doesn't feel quite like it did when I played it. So I'll look into that.
And then the last one I've been playing is, I talked about this last week, but I will probably continue talking about it because it's a big one. It was supposed to be my project game, but I cannot put it down. It is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the middle chapter, basically from the end of Midgar to the big plot twist, the big moment that everyone talks about in Final Fantasy VII. I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to end. I'm on chapter like 12 or 14, so I'm definitely getting towards the end. I definitely got the very overt, hey, things are probably about to kick off when we move on to this next area, so it's probably a good idea to go back and do anything you want to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting towards the point of no return. Obviously, there's a chapter select and other bits and pieces, but like in terms of story, I'm going through and doing all the side quests. I think this game is fantastic in so many ways. I love the direction. I love the things they've added. Like the expanded parts of this. Like again, this is something I would like, what I would want from Halo, where it was like taking that base idea, those base plot elements, and just stretching them out and expanding them, but not in a like tedious way, but in a way that adds value to it, expands the world and the experience.
Yeah, or not in a way that fundamentally changes what it is.
Yes, exactly. But also in this again, but this game is Rebirth was very much on the line in terms of like you knew what was going to happen and there's a meta narrative story reason for why things are pretty much always happening the same way as the original game. Whereas this game, I don't want to give any spoilers, but basically a big plot point at the end of the first game, the first part, is that you make a change to the world that allows you to basically divert from the initial things can go in a different direction, basically, very intentionally. And so some things have happened where it's like, cool, I know what's going to happen here. I know what the plot beat is. I know what town we end up at next. I know. He's like, okay, I know I got to Juno. I know I have to do the marching mini game, and I have to do. Holy shit, there's so many fucking mini games. But it's like, okay, I know the plot beat. I know which town I end up at. But then it's like, oh, that character. I was like, oh shit, I ran into two characters that I was not expecting to see basically until the next game. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. They're bringing some of the stuff forward a little bit where it makes sense. They're not doing too much fan service, but they're like, oh, okay, cool. Final Fantasy VII has a couple of party members that join your game later. And so they can appear earlier in the game but may not join your party, or you may see them at a different time. Well, the mechanics are slightly different. They've smoothed things out a little bit. Yuffie is a really good example for like you played as her in the DLC for the first game. In the second game, she's like an option. Sorry, in the original game, she's like an optional character that you can basically completely miss if you don't get her. Because you have to basically fight her in a battle to get her. In a forest, and if you don't know how to do that, like there's a good chance you like miss her or miss parts of her anyway. They basically she just shows up and is just part of the story now, and a bit more like they've kind of smoothed out some of those edges. Allison's been really enjoying watching this game as like a backseat gaming, which has been great. So we've just been kind of, because she's never played the originals, so it's really fun to kind of experience the story. Yeah, combat's really fun. I like what they've done. Again, it's the same as, very similar to Remake, but they've kind of expanded it out with some new synergy abilities, and each of the party members play quite differently. But the mini games, holy shit, the mini games. Hamaguchi, what the fuck is wrong with you? What happened to you? So
he got bored, man.
So there's an achievement for getting, it's called like 7-star hotel. because you end up at a hotel where you display trophies of all the things that you've done during the game. And most of those trophies come from getting the top score on a mini game. There is 88 trophies to get, which means roughly 88 mini games that you need to complete. Not necessarily different mini games. Some of them have like multiple levels. Like you do this one on easy, you to the top level. You do this one hard, or it's like an alternate version of it. Anyway, there is so many mini games. It's fucking crazy. It's like there's a chocobo racing one. I mean, there's the whole gold saucer thing. So it's like, okay, there's a bike riding one. There's a 3D like Mike Tyson's Punch Out thing. There's a Star Fox style like rail shooter. There's one where you're a frog and you basically have to play Fall Guys, where it's, you know, the thing spinning around, you need to jump over and not get knocked off the platform. But you're a frog, so you can only do hops. Like, there are so many mini games. I can't believe, like, every single thing is like, oh, guess what? It's like, guess what? You're at a store, you're at a town. You're in Costa del Sol. You need to get swimwear. The only way to get swimwear is to win a mini game. Guess what? There's 6 of them. Do fucking all of them. It's so fucking insane how many mini games there are. And Hamaguchi has come out and said, it's like, yeah, I'm going to do more of them for the next game. Fuck you, basically. Like, I don't understand why there's so many of them. But I'm making good progress. It's going to take me a lot of time to go back, because again, like most of the alternate versions or all the mini games don't unlock till you get to about where I'm at right now. On the other side of it, this game suffers for some quite terrible open world bloat. Remake was very strict in terms of, like, you had side quests and that was about it. There was a side quest and a few mini games you had to do. And that was pretty much it. And like each chapter had like maybe 3 or 4 side quests, or each like, you know, like non-story chapter had like, oh, hey, you know, here's a couple of side quests that you can do. Here's a couple of mini games you need to play. And that was pretty much it. Relatively straightforward. Every time you go to an area, now it's like, cool, like 10 to 12 mini games in this area. Also, you need to go to like 5 different towers to reveal all. They do the Assassin's Creed thing. Go to a tower to reveal the other side quest stuff you need to do. There's like at least 6 like battles you have to fight and do like objectives in. There's like 3 to 4 crystals you have to do, and you have to play a little mini game where you have to get a circle. You have to press the button at the right time for the circle. There's ones for like summons that we have to do like a sequence and remember to win the sequence, like basically like a copycat sequence thing. Like, and I was like, cool. I did the first 2 or 3. I did like 3 of them over the zones. And then it turns out there's another 4. There's like 7 regions in this game where you do the same kinds of things over and over again. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, okay, by the time I got to finish the 3rd one, I got to the 4th area and I was like, no, fuck this. I'm just going to keep doing the story and I'll come back for it later. I'm now through to the story part where I have to go back and do these. But I still have like the forest area to do, Cosmo Canyon, Nibelheim, like, and then there's some other extra stuff too. There's so much side stuff in this game that it's kind of ridiculous. And like, great value for money. I'm glad that there's a lot in this game to enjoy, but it feels like I really wish there was more variety in it. And I think that's the one thing that I think causes me problems in this game, is that like I feel like I've experienced most of this stuff already, and I'm just having to basically just double it. And it got to the stage where I'm like, I'm actually just going to mainline the story now, because that's what I'm actually interested in. And I'll get to some of the side quests. Some of these, you know, basically, you know, Ubisoft bloat and massively inflated mini games. Which is the only reason why I wouldn't put it on a game of the year list, or at least wouldn't put it at the top spot, because I'm having a great time with it, and the craft is so good, and the characters are great, and the voice acting, and I love what they've done with the story. But I'm just like, playing it, you have to sit there and be like, okay, I'm like 40 hours in, and I still have half of the side quest stuff to do. It definitely feels like an old school JRPG.
Games,
it definitely has that. So I'm really curious to see if Revelations pairs that back a little bit, because it feels like if they make you do all that shit again, it's really just not going to do it. As Moonzom says, I thought you wanted a game in your game, dog, so I put a mini game in your game 7 times over. 100%. And like, I'm sure by the time I get to the end of it, I'll have fond memories of it. And I'm like, I'm enjoying the mini games for the most part. I just wish I didn't have to play them every 5 fucking seconds. But yeah, we'll get to the end of the plot. I am really, as someone who enjoys the original, I'm so curious around like what their twists are going to be, the things they've changed, the things they're very intentionally kind of playing on, the additional things they've done. I get to do the like Leonardo DiCaprio point thing where I'm like, oh, that's this. Holy shit. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it, but it definitely it overstays its welcome in some really key areas, unfortunately. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've had time to play. I've been wanting to do Bulletstorm as part of my backlog stuff. I've been wanting to do De Blob, and I have a couple of other games installed for like backlog stuff. But that backlog of 40 is getting hard to really drill down into when I have something this big taking up all my time.
Yeah. Hard to get things done when you're playing an 80 to 100 hour completion.
Yeah, exactly. And then
really
it's like,
slows the things down.
Yeah, and especially if like something's leaving Game Pass or you have something like Halo, which everyone wants to play, kind of get your time taken away. But I also am like, well, even if I finish my backlog by the end of the year, I still have next year to worry about too. So not too, it'll always be there, or until Xbox shuts down and they revoke all my licenses. We've also got the word challenge, everyone's favorite competition, where Kirby comes up with. Oh, sorry, Change. Do you have any other games you want to talk about?
Nope, that was it.
Cool.
I'm just working on it. It's falling now.
Sweet. Yeah, word challenge. Everyone's favorite competition where Kirby comes up with a game and we all guess what it is. None of us know what the game is. We're all guessing in the word challenge channel on Discord. You get one guess per hour. And if you get it right, a gift pops up and you win a prize, starting at $30 and increasing as the clues, starting at $30 for the first 3 clues, and then increasing as the clues get more and more obvious. So Kirby's given us a new clue. The first clue was early offerings from this boxing division. Second clue from last week was bloody Huey Lewis going around telling me about shapes. And then the third clue is, in quotes, Way of the Warrior. So get your guesses in. Really curious to see what people. I have no fucking idea. Usually I have some inkling, and maybe I'm like, oh, I understand what one of the clues is trying to say. I think like last time I was like, okay, the Barbados thing. I get that. It's probably around how many people have played the game. But this one, I have no fucking idea. And I love Huey Lewis. Leaderboards, do you want to go through those?
Sure. Let's start with the top 5. Oz Buffanatic got 6,860 gamer score last week. A Gray Shark got 15,870. Thrash Forever got 16,780. Martel 18 got 18,945. And Northern Lass got 60,226 gamer score.
And the game that
that's insane.
His last achievement was Movie Detective in Spot Cat versus the Cheddar Mafia in Europe. That feels like an AI generated title.
Okay, that's definitely AI, 100%.
That's crazy. We also have completions. Rapture finished Halo. Ickles finished Halo. Stuby finished Halo. Moonzon finished Halo. Thrash finished Halo. Shadow Sly finished Halo and Shift at Midnight. Island finished up Forza Horizon 6. And Just Jake finished up Infamous 2 and Infamous Festival of Blood, the DLC. So yeah, lots of Halo going around. Everyone's getting that done before they, just in case they end up patching that lasso exploit. And I think that's pretty much going to bring us to the end of the show. Like I said, a little bit quiet. Hopefully things pick up a little bit soon. As always, you can join us on Discord if you want to hang out with us. That's kind of where we all do all of our events and have chats around like a cardboard. There's a lot of Magic the Gathering and Pokemon card trading and other bits and pieces going on there at the moment. Talk about your overpriced garbage. Again, basically the same thing. Talk about movies and stuff. We've been talking about some of the stuff we want to see. And of course, just kind of video game news and other bits and pieces happening, and the very inside baseball nature of True Achievements and what we do as a hobby. So if you're interested in any of that, come check us out on the Discord. Otherwise, you can watch us on Twitch, Xbox Hall of Gamers, or our Patreon, patreon.com/Hall of Gamers. Shane, anything you want to shill?
As always, you can catch me on firehawkd.com for links to all my stuff, and I am streaming every night, usually on Twitch, and I have daily YouTube videos of all that clip of gaming goodness. So
amazing. And I'm Neomaster on everything True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. But go and check out Shane. He does great stuff. His streams are fantastic. that's been episode 224. We'll catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye.